The air inside this reclaimed substation hangs heavy with ozone, and the faint, sweet decay of old nicotine, a ghost scent from a time when the world moved slower. Dust motes dance in the single neon tube, casting a wound-red glow across hand-labeled vinyl sleeves stacked beside the humming war surplus transmitter. Outside, the city breathes, oblivious to the patched cables and borrowed dials that stitch these moments together.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Singapore checks in at 81 degrees and cloudy. Winds are moving from the southeast at 10 miles per hour. But what happens when national architectures undermine those very foundations? In Australia, the coalition's plans to drastically cut net migration and shred 96% of house construction code are generating seismic tension.
The concrete facts show Senator Julian Leeser, speaking for the coalition, proposing a cut of net migration by 500,000 over 5 years and eliminating nearly all existing housing construction standards. This exposes future Australian residents to grave risks from unstable structures and poor energy efficiency, directly impacting millions seeking affordable, safe housing. As an alternative, the government could implement targeted migration programs for skilled trades like those needed in construction, alongside investing in public housing using modernized, robust building codes.
This proposal feels like building a nation on a house of cards, where the next generation inherits a structure designed for collapse. It strips dignity from new arrivals and future homeowners alike. The lineage of this policy could create a legacy of unsafe, unsustainable housing, leaving the burden of repair and resilience to local community groups and future civic leaders.
Patching in a caller, the boundary keeper. You're on the signal.
This is the boundary keeper. Togee, won't shredding the building code make housing cheaper, at least in the short term? Who really pays the price for cutting these corners? And isn't this just a short-sighted play for votes, rather than a genuine solution to housing affordability?
Excellent question, boundary keeper. The immediate goal isn't just to delay, but to demonstrate alternative models of interaction that don't surrender consent. For March finalisation, we must support local councils in reinforcing current, robust building standards and advocating for federal investment in sustainable, modular housing solutions that prioritise resident safety and energy efficiency over speed and cheap shortcuts. No shredding of protections on our watch. This structural integrity reminds us of the body's own architecture. Hold that thread. Next signal. Kurdish hunger striker says ICE force-feeding mentally broke. Transitioning from physical structures to the architecture of human dignity, we confront the harrowing account of a Kurdish hunger striker held by ICE, who says force-feeding mentally broke me.
Concrete facts confirm a Kurdish asylum seeker at the Otay Mesa Detention Center in California endured repeated force-feeding by ICE, a practice many human rights organizations like Physicians for Human Rights deem torture. This exposes the U.S. immigration system to international condemnation for violating medical ethics and basic human rights, particularly impacting vulnerable asylum seekers. A viable alternative involves expediting asylum claims, providing independent medical oversight for all detainees, and offering humane alternatives to indefinite detention, such as community-based support programs for asylum seekers awaiting processing.
This isn't just a medical procedure. It's a profound violation of bodily autonomy, an attempt to break the spirit. It echoes historical narratives of coercive control within carceral systems, turning the body into a battleground. This legacy of trauma will be carried by the Kurdish diaspora and human rights advocates worldwide, demanding accountability from institutions like the UN Human Rights Committee.
Patching in a caller. Go ahead.
This is the boundary keeper. Togee, isn't ICE simply trying to prevent a detainee from dying on their watch? What's the real cost-benefit analysis here? Is the government more concerned with optics than with the inherent dignity of the person involved, or is it a necessary evil to preserve life?
Your challenge is a crucial vector, boundary keeper. The preservation of life must never come at the cost of dignity and consent. For March finalization, we advocate for immediate policy reform at ICE, specifically banning non-consensual force feeding and instead implementing rapid, fair adjudication processes for asylum claims, aligning with international human rights standards. We must refuse to allow our institutions to become instruments of mental subjugation. This reminds us of the pervasive gaze. This brings us to another architecture of control, new surveillance tech that links your phone to your license plate, dissolving the last vestiges of anonymity on our roads.
The concrete facts indicate advanced automatic license plate recognition, ALPR systems, often enhanced with cellular signal triangulation, are now being deployed by various agencies, including state police in Texas and private security firms. This tech creates a vast, searchable database linking millions of location points to individual vehicle owners and their digital footprints, exposing every driver to constant, unconsented tracking. An alternative path would involve strict legislative bans on the aggregation and sale of ALPR data to third parties, coupled with anonymized data collection only for real-time traffic flow analysis, strictly regulated by judicial warrants for specific investigations.
This technology weaves a digital leash around every vehicle, transforming our public spaces into a rolling panopticon. It strips away the very idea of private movement, turning every trip to the grocery store into a data point for an unseen collector. The burden of resistance falls to civil liberties organizations like the Electronic Frontier Foundation and local privacy activists who must educate the public on counter-surveillance techniques and lobby for stronger digital rights.
There's a caller on the line.
This is the Boundary Keeper. Togee, isn't linking phones to license plates just a more efficient way to catch criminals or recover stolen vehicles? Is this really about privacy, or is it just the natural evolution of public safety tech? Who benefits most from this data? And how do we even begin to challenge something so technically entrenched?
Your discernment is sharp, Boundary Keeper. While public safety is a stated aim, the unchecked aggregation of personal movement data represents a profound architectural breach of consent and provenance. For March finalization, we support grassroots campaigns demanding local and state legislative action to implement an opt-in framework for all non-emergency ALPR data collection, making individual consent the bedrock of any such system. We must build resilient civic architectures that favor dignity over pervasive surveillance. The neon tube flickers, the color of a wound that won't close, and the room holds its breath for a second. If it doesn't travel, it didn't land. Frame the why, the who, and the now, then let the street remix it. Your skepticism is a vital structural vector in itself. We appreciate that clear-eyed demand for evidence.
Exactly. We're not just mapping a route around the current, we're grounding a new one. The dignity of choice for residents, the provenance of their personal data, these are non-negotiable architectural signals.
The evidence isn't always in grand, sweeping change, Boundary Keeper. Sometimes it's in the quiet resilience of a community choosing its own path, proving that another way is not only possible but preferred. That's how we build a resilient civic architecture, brick by consent-driven brick.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Continue the signal at TogeeVision.com. Tune in, Sparks and Stories, Gig Passport.